Hi, this is Rodrigo from Frame Freak Studio, and this is the Creative Hostler Show. Today we have a guest who has been before. His name is Matt GASER. He's a concept artist, and he's rolling now a Kickstarter, pretty much promoting his art and his toy, Professor Harkin. So, welcome, Matt.
Thank you, dude. I am again honored to be here, and I just appreciate the help. My Kickstarter needs as much help as possible, and you're helping me. Thank you.
No problem at all. So, for the people who haven't seen yet the previous interview, can you tell us a little bit? Can you go again on your intro a little bit?
Yeah, I'm a concept artist. I've been working in the field for let's see, about 16 years now. 8 of it has been freelance. I work out of my home studio here, and I just work on a variety of projects in animated movies, live action movies, and video games, as well as some stage design for electronic concerts that I've been doing more recently. But yeah, I mean, I'm freelance, so I do all kinds of work that's art related, and I love it, and that's what I do. So.
Awesome. And going right to the point, can you tell us a little bit about your Kickstarter? What is it about, and pretty much how did you got the idea of Professor Harkins?
Yeah, well, I collect art toys, and I think you can see them like right up here. There's a whole bunch of them up there. Anyway, I love art toys, and I love the craft of it, and I love the designs that people create. And I'm a character designer as well as an environment concept artist, and I've just created a huge world of unique characters of my own. So over the years, I've really wanted to create my own toy. And last year, I seeked out a company to see if they could make a vinyl toy of my character, and I pitched them this design. And although they turned me down, they put me in the right direction. They told me where I should go, and they also said that instead of vinyl, it should probably be resin. And so here I went on this path of a resin art toy. And anyway, yeah, I got a quote from a really renowned company in Los Angeles, Mana Studios, and from there I was able to judge just how much money I needed to get things rolling. And so I started with an actual design, which was this sort of concept piece here. And I've created this world called Galligan, and inside Galligan is like this alternate New York called New Logan. And New Logan is like just a massive metropolis of robots, giants, human beings, little tiny people, creatures of all kinds, and they all live in this amazing city. And so I wanted to basically pluck a robot from this world and make that into a toy. So once I had the design, I just basically compartmentalized the production. So I knew I had to get it 3D modeled. I don't 3D model, so I had to get my friend to do it. I paid him, obviously. And then once we had the 3D model, I actually sought out a company here in Sonoma County. They do a lot of 3D printing for Pixar, and they were generous enough to help me. So we 3D printed a mock-up, which I'll show you here. So this is the mock-up. It's not painted, but you can kind of see it. He's got like a little briefcase, and on the back is like a little plug where he powers up, and he's got like a little battery pack where he stores his energy, and he's got like a little star on his hat. Well, while we were creating this, we realized to make it easier for painting, we had to take each piece and make it separate so we can more easily paint the toy in production. So all the arms, the hat, and even the legs, they pop off. And then they're going to be glued together in final production. So from that, I was able to then create a color scheme, which obviously I had already created from my concept painting. And so from there, I just went ahead and painted the final master paint, which is this guy.
Looks awesome.
Yeah, he's got like little stubby legs. He's got his hands, his arms are all like made of metal, and he's got like a little tiny plug again right there with his battery pack. Anyway, so this is Professor Harkin, and this is kind of pretty much how he's going to look. I have to do Pantone swatches and try to get the color scheme to be accurate for production, but it's going to be painted and manufactured in China. And yeah, like if you want to go to my Kickstarter, it's Professor Harkin. Does that come across backwards?
No, it's coming right.
Okay, good. I see it backwards for some reason on my camera, but profharkin.com, and I'll take you straight to the Kickstarter page. And right now we've raised $6,000, and we need to raise 8, and we have basically 7 more days to go. So I think or just over 6,000. So I think we're like 73% there, and yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's funny. We went through a huge high at the beginning where we were raising a ton of money really fast, and naturally, with every 30-day Kickstarter project, about in the middle of the second week or something like that, it really tapers off. And I knew that was going to happen, but I lined it up right next to the Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle, so we got another big boost from that. I even printed little promo cards to hand out. They told the backstory of like who he is, and again gave you the link to the main page of Kickstarter, and that was really helpful to generate business for the Kickstarter itself. And so then again, there was like another dip, and then now we're on a big surge again because I just told everyone I only have 8 more days. It's time to do this. So so anyway, that's why I'm here. I wanted to just promote the project, and again, just if you like art toys and you want to support this character, I highly recommend checking out the Kickstarter page. The great thing about Kickstarter projects is that you can offer like reward tiers, and so I have I think 15 different reward tiers that all like offer different kinds of swag, like T-shirts, prints, books. That I've all created over the years. So yeah, just check it out. So there you go. Yeah.
Awesome. And what are the challenges? Like, just to be honest, I know many people who just think like, oh yeah, I'll just do a Kickstarter. Like if it was like the easiest thing in the world. Now Kickstarter is amazing because yeah, definitely compared to whatever our grandparents had, or even our parents had, like this tool is amazing and definitely makes easier to get funds for projects that you want to do.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not that easy.
No.
And I think there is still people who think like they can just post a Kickstarter and it just magically going to give them a lot of money and something like that. So what are the challenges that you have faced through doing this?
Oh, an enormous amount. I mean, honestly, I think the prep is some of the hardest, actually. Just trying to get all your ducks lined up in a row before you launch. I had to put in some, decent amount of capital just to get this thing running. It's kind of like a risk, I guess, but I was willing to go all the way on my own to begin with. This Kickstarter is just another way to generate funds through people that are interested, rather than just putting it all out on my own and then just hoping that people buy it. So this way I know I've already generated enough interest where I can actually start selling these things once I make them. So once I kind of realized I wanted to go that route, then I just went into planning phase and I did some research. I went online. I just looked at a lot of different Kickstarters. I read a lot of articles and blogs and things like that to help inform me of what I needed to create. To be very specific, you had to have a video. I knew I had to create a video, so I hired my friend who's an amazing videographer for like corporations. He came into my studio, we shot this whole thing. We had a huge plan on how we were gonna attack the shoot, and we did it. And then he edited it for me and we put music to it. And that's, again, something if you go to profharkin.com, you can check out. Really just sort of laid out the whole process of like why I wanted to do this and all the different hoops and hurdles of trying to get the prototype done. So I really didn't think about the Kickstarter too much until after all that pre-production stuff was finished. Like once I had the prototype painted is when I started thinking like, okay, now we can go into Kickstarter mode. And yeah, I just wrote down like all the different things. Like, for example, when you launch your Kickstarter, the URL, the address to your main page is really long. And so people were always telling me to like create a domain name and then attach the URL of the main page to your domain name. So I went ahead and bought profharkin.com, and the only thing is you don't get your domain name to your main page once you launch. So it's like something you have to like, on the very day that you launch, you want to make sure you just lock in that domain with the URL of the main page right away, and then off you go. You're ready to do that. So it's just something really simple. Like instead of saying, well, look up Professor Harkin Resin Art Toy by Matt GASER on LinkedIn or on Kickstarter, and you'll find it. I mean, it's a lot easier just to say profharkin.com and you'll check it out. So that's something that was really crucial to get people to come to the main page really easily. Also, I had a huge mailing list that I've generated from doing Comic-Cons. I think I had like 1,100 people right off the bat that I could just immediately shoot an email to like generate more interest, and that helped a lot. And then I also made a list of like all the major art toy magazines online that do articles about art toys, and reached out to them. And I think I reached out to like 8 of them, and 3 of them did an article on my art toy. So that was awesome. And then I did another little fun thing. I live in Petaluma, California, which is like in wine country, and Northern California by San Francisco. And there's a brewery right here in town that Lagunitas Brewing Company, and it just so happens that they sponsor the International Art Toy Awards. I think in New York, Morgan Spurlock does the announcing for it, and I couldn't believe it that like my hometown brew company like sponsors the biggest art toy awards event in the world. So I reached out to them, and they were extremely excited, but they never got back to me. They were like really interested, but that's as far as it went. So I'm just hoping I can eventually get their interest and maybe get them to sponsor it in some way, where I can maybe put like the Lagunitas Brew Company logo on the packaging, because that would just generate a lot more official interest in the project. Like it's not just some random guy, it's like a huge beer company is interested in my toy. So and then yeah, once the project is generated enough money, then we can go ahead and just jump it into production. I have huge plans to make a really amazing like I'm really into packaging. So for like my my book, it was just really well made. My limited edition book, had like a nice envelope inside that had exclusive prints along with the book. So for this, I want to just do a really nice box, full color, and also inside is like a little tiny trading card that kind of gives you a backstory about Professor Harkin, because he's a math teacher, things like that you'll learn. And yeah, I mean, that's the goal. And just, yeah, lots of planning, lots of prep, and just stay focused. So there you go.
And there are other methods to fund your project. Like Indiegogo, for example, has this the thing I think about Kickstarter that scares people a little bit is that it's an all or nothing project. So pretty much, if you don't get 100% funding, you don't get nothing, right?
Right.
So in Indiegogo, there is like the variable funding where you can select this choice, and pretty much, let's say you only get the $6,000, then you will get those $6,000. Like it doesn't matter if it, and you can even leave open the Indiegogo for longer times for people to keep donating, so you can reach the goal with a longer time. So what made you choose Kickstarter over Indiegogo?
Because most of my colleagues have used Kickstarter and have done very well. 3 of them very specifically have done exceptionally well, and they're all friends of mine. And so none of my friends actually have used Indiegogo or some of the other ones out there, and I just felt really comfortable about it. So I just use that platform. I can't really specifically say why other than that, but I guess, it comes down to just everyone knows Kickstarter. It's just kind of like the Facebook or the Twitter of, you know, fundraising. And I just wanted to be on the most, you know, popular platform. Plus, it was just really intuitive, really easy to set up the campaign. I chipped away on it for about a month, on and off. And although I didn't do as much research on Indiegogo on how to generate the campaign for them, it just seemed really easy to just go straight to Kickstarter. And yeah, when it comes down to generating the funds, I mean, for people that don't know, if you don't make the actual pledge amount that you set for yourself, you don't get any money. So, so it's really important that you go to my Kickstarter and just donate $10. I'm just teasing, but I'm kind of serious. Anyway, that's how it works. So yeah, it's just important. And then there's different like tiers of time frame you can set. Like I chose 30 days because it's like the easiest, most popular method of generating funds. Some people do it for like 90 days. Some people do it for 40 days. I actually think I should have done it for 40 days because I could have used just 10 more days right now. But so in hindsight, I would recommend going that route, about 40 days. But the 90-day route seems a little overzealous. A lot of people told me it just really tapers off, and people get so sick and tired of hearing about your freaking project, and they don't want any emails or notifications about your fundraising program. You know, so 30 days is just a nice push where it doesn't start to get, you know, annoy people. And I don't like to annoy people, so there you go.
There is definitely that. However, I have seen, like, I have tried a Kickstarter in the past. It definitely failed, but I have seen many projects that the curve goes like you just say, like in the beginning it's like really high, and then start going really low, and then pretty much in the middle there's like it forms like a kind of a W, because in the middle it generates a little bit of interest, and then in the last stage it peaks again because, well, obviously it's the last chance to help and all that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it also just comes down to your network. I mean, I can't say my network is just vastly enormous. It's not, but it's a lot bigger than it was 5 years ago. And I was able to use that as a platform for generating buzz and getting people on board. I think if I had never done Comic-Cons and never had a mailing list, I would be just right out the gate, like, you know, starting crawling. I mean, I tried Facebook, by the way, which was really frustrating. I'll explain all this. The moment you tag a link to a website, or if like you're mentioning anything about money, it seems like they inhibit you from everyone in your network on Facebook seeing the actual post, unless you pay to get, you know, to boost that post. And so I put in $25, got some more buzz that way. But it was really interesting. Like, I'd say maybe 30 of my good colleagues and friends did the exact same thing I did on Facebook. They posted, you know, a tag about it and then a link with a photograph of the toy. And they all got the similar response. Like about 5 or 6 people would just like it, you know. Whereas if I just did like a picture of like some of my art and said, hey, look, this is a sketch I did today, I would get like 100 people like liking it. So there's some weird algorithm program things going on with Facebook that are not cool. And they're just trying to make money now about stuff like that. Part of the platform, which I thought was so cool in the beginning, is you could promote stuff and not and use the network you've worked so hard generating, you know, as a tool. And now they just want you to throw money at it to get it to work, and it's just not fair. You know, not for independent people who are just trying to, you know, get something rolling. So that's my feeling about that. Anyway.
Yeah, actually, Facebook is going to get a lot worse on that hand. For example, now there is a change coming where it's not going to show the post from your fan pages. So pretty much any post that you want to do through your fan page, you will have to boost it or nobody will see it. And they are going to even remove it completely from the timeline, and they are just going to set like kind of a little space there, a little square that says like, oh, this might be an update that you might like, and it's going to be like a slide of all the fan page that you like. But pretty
Right.
much, if you're not that interested in that, or let's say that the first post that it shows is not that interesting, it doesn't catch your attention, and maybe your fan page is the third option from that slide, then nobody's going to see your content.
And that's lame. You know what I'm noticing though with a lot of my friends and colleagues is they're just jumping over to LinkedIn. I mean, I have over 8,000 people in my network on LinkedIn, and when I post something, I get something like 2,000 people looking at it. I don't get that at all on Facebook. I've never gotten something like that. At the most, like 300. So, and LinkedIn doesn't really have the same at all rules as Facebook does. So it's just another great way to network and promote stuff is to use LinkedIn, especially for artists. I think there's just an enormous amount of art content being posted on LinkedIn for this reason. And then also, with that comes the potential of getting another gig or job and just promoting your work in general for, clients and companies and stuff. So on top of just being a promotional thing, it's also a good work thing.
Yeah, definitely. Something that I could recommend to everybody is like pretty much through MailChimp, which is like it has a free option to start your mailing list and pretty much start promoting your mailing list and for people to subscribe, because when you have a really important announcement, it will be much better to send like the email to all the people who follow you and start having them like and start having every people who follow you start having them into a special place, or even open a Facebook group, because that's even more helpful now than the Facebook fan pages. So there is something that can be used.
Yeah, stay away from Facebook. And then I don't even know what Twitter is doing. I don't even use it anymore. I just don't understand it anymore. I am so distant from Twitter. I mean, Trump uses it. I don't use it.
Twitter is falling hard. Like I don't know. I don't know if you've seen this, but the third quarter, I think it was, of last year, like they didn't generate any single new user. Like for 3 months in a row, they didn't have any, like, zero new users. It was completely dead, and people were trying to like, holy shit, like this can only mean two things. Like either there was nobody new who joined Twitter over those 3 months, or people were closing their accounts as fast as they were new subscribers.
So it's just clearing out, yeah.
So the number of users remain like flatline, completely flatline. I think they are, and now they have become so restrictive. Like for example, they have implemented these new policies that let's say if they catch you doing something that they don't like, so for example you share a meme that they consider to be offensive or something like that in Facebook, or if you are in part of a group that they don't like, they can ban you from Twitter. So I think that's insane.
That is insane. I don't like that at all. Yeah, I mean, social network is just, oh, and then I also met this woman at a comic convention back at CTN. I think it was CTN. Anyway, she's a marketing rep for Best Buy, and she was sweet enough to just like over the span of 3 months download all this information about posting and creating a content calendar. For those of you that don't know anything about this, like I didn't even know there's certain times of the day that you're supposed to post on Facebook versus Twitter versus LinkedIn, because the network or the type of people that are on those things are on at different times of the day. So you want to make sure that you post the maximum time where everyone in that platform is looking at it. So like Facebook, for example, is like, I think the best times to post from what I read were like 9 a.m. or like, right when people are getting to work, they're checking their Facebook, they're not quite settled in yet, they're still drinking their coffee, or lunchtime because, they're freaking out because they haven't been able to do social networking for the past 3 hours, so they're jumping on it again. And then obviously, like right around 5 o'clock, like right before they leave work, there was some kind of algorithm that said that they looked at it more than if they got home because they were distracted. You know, they're going to the gym, making dinner, family, whatever. So yeah, for Facebook, it was 9, 12, and 5 p.m. Anyway, it was just great to learn that. And then the content calendar was really cool too. It's just like a Google calendar that we started where you just lay out like each week what you want to post. Like, oh, this week I'm going to do a live sketch on Facebook, or maybe I'll do a video on Thursday about, you know, my toy project, or post like she was suggesting a comic strip, which I don't have any time for right now, but you know, just something to generate more buzz about my art, my characters, my stories, and then through that you get more of a following. That said, I've been thinking about Patreon and starting something like that where I'm just offering like a subscription for people to just walk into my world, and you know, with that we get all kinds of cool things, just demos, talk about art, show my cool stuff, I guess. I don't know, but again, these are all different platforms that you can utilize, and tricks that you can utilize social networking to generate a larger network for promoting things, especially for Kickstarters. So there you go.
Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of friends who are like in the marketing side. For example, I've been doing ads for many years now in Facebook, and there was a feature that they used to have that it allowed you to select the time where you wanted Facebook to publish an ad, for example. And they took that out because now it's like, oh yeah, trusting our algorithm, like this is going to show like the more people that responds to that, like the better, and we are only going to charge you for the people who responds to that. But still, it has been tested that if you concentrate the ads into this kind of times, it performs better. And the thing is that if you want to do the ads in those specific times, now you have to pay for another app that is called Adespresso. So they let you do that through through Facebook. And so pretty much if you want to select the time of the day where your ad is going to show, or your boosted post is going to show, right, you have to pay extra. and that's and that was a feature that was supposed to be in Facebook. Like it was in Facebook like years ago, and now it isn't, and now you have to pay for it. So this is a discussion that many marketers have been talking about social media, and I think definitely they have the pendulum is going to them now. They are trying to get all the money that they can, because now they really don't care anymore about small companies or small people, because now, let's say Adidas, they made the choice of, okay, we are not going to advertise anymore through TV, through radio. We are going to focus only on digital. And now they are getting all this big money from big companies. So now they don't care about the smaller ones.
Independent people, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and they are putting all these rules. So I think many of the marketing tactics that is going to help small people is going to pretty much we are going to have to take care of it. Like, we're going to have our email list and make sure that people subscribe to it. That, for example, a strategy that I used in the past was to create like a mini course, a 4-video series teaching something for creative freelancers, to teach them like the logistics from it. And if they wanted to get the course, then they had to subscribe to my email list and pretty much promote that. And even through the interviews, like when I started 2 years ago with this, no, 3 years ago with this now, wow. In the beginning, I will just post the interviews and people will go crazy. Like, we will get like 200 likes, 300 likes, like in the best case scenarios, like 600. And we didn't promote, like we didn't have to pay anything for it. And now for every interview, we have to pay at least $10 through 3 different fan pages, because if not, nobody sees it.
And isn't that crazy? I don't know. I mean, look, these companies invented this platform. I get it, and they want to pay their employees. They want to make money, but there's enough corporations actually giving them ad revenue. I just don't understand why they have to gouge the independent people like us. And there's an easy way to figure that out. It's not, I'm not a Fortune 500 business company. I'm just trying. I'm just a small time guy. So yeah, I think it might shoot themselves in the foot. But anyway, Kickstarter's got it down, and if you want to check out my Kickstarter, by the way, it's profharkin.com. And yeah, there you go. So sorry to interrupt.
Awesome. Any tips that you would like to give people who want to do a Kickstarter in the future?
Yeah, figure out what you want to do. Make sure that it's a viable project that people are interested in. If you're trying to make glue, make sure that the people that that you're trying to promote to really love glue. Maybe they're craft people or something. But terrible example, by the way. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is just plan out a good reason for why you want to do the Kickstarter. First of all, you have to have a great idea, and then work around that and generate a list of things that you need to accomplish for marketing purposes, for actual prototyping. Make sure you get that video going. And by the way, I went all out on my video. I didn't pay my friend a lot. He was very generous to donate some of his time, but it was very professional. We had some great lighting, great cameras. You don't need all that. You can literally just have your iPhone. Make sure you have good lighting at least, people can see you, and talk very clearly and make sure your point is really well said. You don't want to interrupt, the point by elaborating too much, which I can do a lot, but for this specific video, I was very precise. And I just had a lot of things that I wanted to say, and I made sure they were clear, and I just didn't elaborate too much. So that's a good point about making the video. And there's a lot of blogs out there and articles on Kickstarter on how to do a good video. And I read and watched all of them, so I kind of knew what to do. But yeah, again, you don't need a lot of money, and you don't need super professionalism involved in the video. And then again, yeah, just the domain name, very important thing. And give yourself, I'd say, a month and a half to generate the project and build the campaign from the ground up before you actually launch. Like, I wouldn't try and compile all this stuff in 2 weeks and launch it. It's just too overwhelming, and there's no need for it. I mean, you can decide whenever you want to push that button. So just make sure you give yourself enough time to put it all together, and just put it together clearly, So, and then, yeah, your tier rewards are also another thing you want to think about. It's not necessary, and it just helps. It helps get people excited about donating money if they can get something back. You just want to make sure that in your reward tiers, you're not breaking even. So if someone donates $25, don't give away something that's also worth $25. You're just trading apples for oranges, So so just make sure you're still on track to actually make more revenue for your Kickstarter while also giving something away. That's about it. Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard. It just takes time.
Yeah, definitely it's a lot of planning. I think one of the mistakes I did was that we felt pressured. Pretty much everything fell apart in 1 week, and we still feel pressure to do it in the same time, so we pushed that button to try to promote it. But definitely, I think in hindsight, I think it would have been better to try to regroup and set the basis straight and be really prepared before, and it would have been better to delay the Kickstarter. And also, one thing, as you say, like, you have to plan for the money that you have, because Kickstarter gets also a part of the fees of everything that you made. So
yeah, that's actually really true. They take like what, 3%?
yeah, and there is a lot of numbers that you have, as you say, like every reward has to give you at least, I think, at least 50% of what you're offering, because if not, like, it's going to become really, really hard for you to have anything left to to make the project. So
Right.
yeah, that was really hard to calculate. Like, okay, like how much money do we need to make this project, and then how much money do we need to create? Like, if we have all these rewards,
Yeah.
then how much it will cost to make them and deliver them, and it was really, we are not that good at math, so that was really hard to calculate for us.
Well, yeah, it is nice to be sort of a businessman when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'll explain something too. Like and I'm being honest because I'm just an honest guy, but I actually needed 10,000. So my Kickstarter is pushing for 8,000, and I just thought that was a more achievable number to actually get funds than to try and push, just a couple more thousand to get to 10, because I think the number is just too well rounded of a number that's too high for people to grasp, and they may not actually be interested because psychologically they might think it's unachievable. And so I just felt 8,000 was a good number that seemed high, but also could happen. And I'm willing to put in that last, couple thousand to make the toy, no problem. I have a separate account from my Comic-Con revenue that I can put into that. But I mean, capturing that 8,000 will be just an enormous leap forward to put this toy into production. So another point about the Kickstarter that I'm doing, I'm actually going to be doing 300 of these robots. 250 of them will be painted just like you see here. The other 50 will be blanks. They'll be brought back to me, and then I'm going to do 10 or 5 SKUs, 10 of each, of different color variations. Like one's going to be a medical robot. He's going to be all red or all white with like red appendages. With like instead of a heart on his chest, it's going to be like a cross, like a medical cross. And just do 5 variations, 10 units each of these other ones, and they'll be hand painted by me, and they'll be very exclusive, and they'll be on my website for purchasing. But the other, like I said, the other 250 will just be like I've been promoting, the green Professor Harkin guy. So
Awesome.
yeah.
So, any last advice that you would like to give for the people who are listening to us?
Yeah, if you don't donate, I'm gonna hunt you down. So, so just donate. No, I'm a very nice guy. I'm just teasing. But yeah, I guess again, just make sure you have a great idea and plan ahead. Give yourself a month, and whenever you're ready, push that button, make it happen. So
Awesome. Thanks a lot for being here and giving us a little bit of your time. I know that you have been very, very busy in these days because of this project.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate your time. You helping me is enormous. Thank you very much.
And yes, go to profharkins.com. Please donate. Here is the URL, profharkin.com. Go to a Kickstarter and look for it. If you are watching this interview in YouTube, you will find the link to Prof Harkin below. And also, if you are listening to us through podcast, pretty much you will find the link in the description as well. And if you go to the URL to watch it from our website, there will be all the links and the video from the Kickstarter over there for you to see all the details about Prof Harkin. So let's get this project funded. There is only 8 days left. Let's go and donate, and let's make this happen.
All right. Thanks, Rodrigo.
So this has been the last episode from the Creative Hustler Show. I hope you have liked it. And if you do, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel as well. So until next time.